We knew that every other studio would bring their A game, so we wanted to make sure that we brought ours.
Someone asked me if this was a really competition. Yes, of course. We fight like the heroes.
The ideas behind our scene was pretty much an epic 90s Saturday morning cartoon-style fight sequence. It was certainly our inspiration.
They have an epic way of doing traps and fights, and it's so classic and comical, and we just want to do something that's almost like a tribute. And it's such a beautiful idea to take something so simple, you're like, it's a fight with no constraints, and then seeing what people do with that is phenomenal. One surprising thing that happened is that we actually had time to do some behind the scenes.
Cut! What the heck?
Our approach, only having 8 weeks for this production, after the initial panic, was okay, let's come up with an idea to the time we have, which we absolutely did not do.
It's been a funny experience all along, you know, coming up with the script and seeing people react to the script like, no, that's not going to be possible, and doing it anyway. At least once in my lifetime, I want to make one of those kind of like Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings kind of battle scenes. I remember the fear in the eyes of the first AD when he tried to make sense of this and tried to make the shot list.
There was a hairy couple of days trying to find a post-production house that could help us. The schedule was just looking impossible. Everyone was saying no. Everyone loved the project, still saying no. But ultimately, we have a great relationship with Mathematique in Paris, and I'm not ashamed to say I begged them. And they did a brilliant job, and they far exceeded our expectations. Yeah, it was a wonderful production.
Everything is challenging in stop motion. Having your character just stand up without falling over is hard. There was weapons on chains that have to be supported at every frame. There was a lot of motion control camera work, which looks amazing, but it takes a lot of work for the animators, a lot more frames to have that look good. There was a lot of challenges, but super magical getting it all in. Really honored to be part of it.
We had to showcase the character's hero form, which was the ability to make pancakes and level up.
He's powering up! He's eating the pancakes!
For the spot, we had to look at a bunch of toys and how they were molded, and that was probably the funniest part, like throwing these characters around and play fighting with the little characters.
Pick a hero form! Flip the fight your way!
Big challenge with our scene is that we love practical effects. Our scene has a lot of explosions and a lot of running and stunts and a 30-meter long drop kick into a building.
Initially, we thought about the musketeer and the knight being caught up in a close combat fight, but it didn't feel right.
And it's hard because one has a gun and the other one has a sword.
Yeah. And you never bring a sword to a gun fight.
The biggest challenge of the whole project is try to bring all the dynamics and physicals from the motion capture session, because every single guy the stunts that run and jump, and you can see it in a realistic way in the motion capture. When you translate that information into the mini P.E.K.K.A with the legs like this length, it will almost impossible to make him run. So we had to reanimate every single shot in keyframe based on what we already have done in mock-up.
A big challenge that was a very short beat, so we knew that it has to be visually very clear but also very fast, so that was a challenge to make it like readable but also very snappy. We came up with this spinning camera, and we looked at a lot of references from the old 80s movie Point Break when the bank robbers are skydiving, and we also looked at Lord of the Rings where Gandalf is fighting Balrog, which really has a lot of energy and a lot of speed.
to make those completely different beats, as we called them, kind of work as one piece. There had to be let's call it an umbrella for everything, something that holds everything together.
For that, I needed Camille Saint-Saëns's piece called Dance Macabre as a foundation for the actual music production to build upon that.
So once the film became more final, we were able to get more and more responsive to picture, which obviously is cool for like a cartoonish fight scene, but also the other genres.
It's just basically a dream project. There's no way to say no to something like this.
It's always nice to see your favorite characters through new lenses.
And our reactions in terms of seeing the film for the first time, honestly, we all thought it was just epic.